Hey everyone, I am Gary of the Elysiums. Welcome back to another video ranking. So this video, I'm doing Tool, which obviously you know because you clicked on this video. They only have 5 studio albums, so I only rank bands that have 6 or more studio albums, but I made a special exception for Tool, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. But before I start this video, do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, all that stuff. Helps support my channel, gives me motivation to make more videos like this. So, about a month ago, a little less, the Back to the Beginning live stream was aired, and I gave a review on it. Back to the Beginning, obviously, is the very last concert performed by Ozzy Osbourne and the original Black Sabbath, all 4 original members. Now, as I'm saying this today, Ozzy Osbourne was laid to rest. His funeral happened earlier today. It's a very sad day. During my lunch break from work, I was kind of just, watching it on my phone and going through clips on social media, and it kind of hit me harder than finding out that Ozzy passed in the first place. I think it was, I was a little more emotional this time because I was kind of in shock, I think, when I heard Ozzy died, and I was like, it can't be, he's not gone. But, to see the sadness on Sharon's face, and Kelly and Amy, Jack, Lewis, just to see the sadness and the grief, and knowing that, John Michael Osborne has finally laid to rest is, it's real now, and it sucks that we now have a world without Ozzy Osbourne, and his music's gonna live on, his legend's gonna live on, but to not have that person in flesh is, a little upsetting. But he's above us now, and he's looking down and seeing us all rock out to his music, his solo career on Black Sabbath. So going back to that, on my review of Back to the Beginning, I reviewed every band on there, and one of the bands I reviewed was Tool, because they obviously played on there, and I got a lot of hate for it, just because I wasn't a big fan of the performance. I was underwhelmed by it, and I did see Tool before it live, and I was kind of like, I prefer their studio albums. I'm a Tool fan of studio albums. I do like it. I didn't like when I saw them live. I wasn't a big fan of the performance they did at Back to the Beginning. Hey, I get it. It's cool that they actually made an appearance, because, Tool, especially Maynard, don't really like to show face too often. So the fact that they actually did the concert was awesome, and many people have seen him, Tool, probably for the first time. I know the first time I saw Tool was, obviously in the Hit Parader magazines after Aenima came out. We'd see Maynard in all blue paint and all those different things, and you never actually saw the band. But right before Lateralus came out, I remember buying a Guitar World magazine, which came with an exclusive poster of Justin Chancellor and Adam Jones, and that was the first time I actually saw Tool, their faces, and read an interview with them. So I think that's when I really got into Tool, around that time. All right, so like I said, Tool only has 5 studio albums. The guy's been around for 35 years, but they've only put out 5 albums, 5 studio albums, and then we're gonna get right into it. And like I said, I'm a Tool fan, but I'm not a Tool nerd, so I don't really know all the specifics. I'm not like all about Tool, just a fan. So I know I'll get some hate, just like my comments did on their performance, my review of their performance on Back to the Beginning. And I will say this before I start this ranking: there's not a bad Tool album. There's not a Tool album where it's like, oh, that's horrible, I don't want to ever listen to it. All their albums are fantastic. I'll give you that. But I have to rank them. It's the point of this video. And coming at number 5 is Fear Inoculum. This is their last release in 2019. The first studio release in 13 years. The title track itself won a Grammy. Tempest won a Grammy. This had huge critical acclaim when it came out, and for me, I feel like it was a little underwhelming. I mean, it has that new signature. I call it new because they kind of perfected it with, I think they introduced the sound on Lateralus, perfected it with 10,000 Days, and on this album, they continued it. It's prog. Tool is a full prog band right now. Prog metal, prog rock, whatever you want to call them. But to me, every song was really long, except for especially the 15-minute Tempest. After listening to this album for the first time, I didn't sit back and was like, wow, like I was blown away by one song or two songs. To me, a lot of songs sounded alike. They're repetitive. It wasn't bad, but I just rank it at I rank it fifth for me. That's the way I rank it. I probably haven't spent as much time as I should have with this album, like I did with the other albums, but I was thinking right before this video that I should spend a little more time with this and get a little more familiar with it. Clocks in at almost a full 80 minutes. This is the way it was released in this. There's no jewel case. There's no digipack. It's this hard shell book. It was expensive. I think it was like $35 at probably like Target, which was the cheapest to get it. Here's the CD. And then you just have this book of, pictures and different types of artwork, lyrics. So this is the way it was released. Obviously, a lot of people bought it on vinyl, which was super expensive. And most people just stuck to, digital music, Spotify and all that. You got these 3D lenticular, cards in there, which are super cool, especially that one there. I don't know. I feel like they kind of price gouge fans, in my opinion. Their concerts aren't the cheapest. I mean, charging $35 for one album, I'm sure it's a lot more now since it's been, 4 years, or 6 years actually. It's kind of weird. It's been 6 years since this came out. Time flew by. Wow. But anyway, yeah, I mean, their concert tickets are a lot. This is expensive. Manier he'll have you thrown out of your concert if you use your phone, taking a video or anything like that. I don't know if that's still true. I know that was in the headlines when he first came out and said it, but I feel like if you're spending, I get it. Like, if you're a performer on stage, you want people to watch you. They paid to see you. That's why you're there. But in the same breath, you paid for the tickets. You paid to be there. You're paying this artist to show you, so you should be able to do whatever you want. And obviously, people are on Instagram and Facebook, but a lot of people are posting. They're taking videos, they're sending it to their friends and family, saying, "Hey, I'm seeing Tool. Hey, here's this clip on Instagram." So I think they should be allowed to do it. Anyway, coming at number 4, Undertow. Fantastic album. I love this album. 1992 release. There's the back cover. For some reason, this original cover was banned by stores like Walmart, and they replaced it with a giant UPC. I don't understand why that was banned. I know some of the pictures are a little controversial inside, but whatever. Features their. Yeah, I can't show these pictures. I forgot. Features probably one of their biggest songs, and their huge hit video, "Sober." Henry Rollins guests on this. "Swamp Song" is a great song. The title track is one of my favorite tracks by them. "Intolerance," "Prison Sex," "Bottom." That was the song I mentioned with Henry Rollins. "Crawl Away," 4 Degrees, "Flood," "Disgustipated." Just a great album. But for me, this isn't the essential Tool sound, the signature sound that Tool would create. That would happen, I think, starting on the next album. For this album, I feel like it's more of a alternative metal, not really prog at all, I would say. More of an alternative metal. There's, I don't want to say, there's grunge influences. I don't really want to say that, but there is. It's 92. I mean, it's a soundtrack to the years, to times. But yeah, this is a more accessible album, I feel like, for Tool. But don't expect, anything like, The Pot or Vicarious, even for Inoculum, this is totally different sounding. Paul D'Amour, original bassist, plays on this. He would leave the band after this album, but the other three members, Maynard, Danny Carey, and Adam Jones, would continue on. And that brings me to number 3, 10,000 Days. Very unique packaging here. These fold up. There's glasses you could look through. Kind of hard to see. Kind of hard to see though. You kind of like have to focus with one eye, but you could look through and look at these pictures. Oh, I can see it on video. That's cool. So yeah, cool artwork. Some different quotes and lyrics in here. Adam Jones did the artwork, obviously. Being that he is an art major. Let's see if you can see this. But yeah, there's pictures of the bands and stuff like that. The band. This wasn't this was just like, I think, a regular price. I remember getting this at Best Buy when it came out. It's probably a little more like 16 bucks. But nothing really super crazy because of the packaging. So cool that they did that. Just, it's a bitch. It doesn't really fit. I mean, it fits here, but you have all that space that got. Anyway, this is a 2006 release. This came 5 years after the album before this, and very, very decent album. I think this is where they continued their sound and started to perfect it. I already mentioned Vicarious. That was the lead-off single from this CD. The Pod, super great song. Still gets radio play till today. Vicarious, I did remember getting some radio play, but The Pot, they still play it today. Jambi, another great song. You have Wings for Marie Part 1, and then 10,000 Days, the title track, which is Wings Part 2. Lightman Conjuring, Lost Keys, Rosetta Stoned, awesome song. Great riff on that song. Intention, Right Into, and Virginity Trace, which ends it. Really cool album. And, fans were definitely waiting for a huge follow-up. This doesn't disappoint. I don't think it's as good as the album that came before it. I'm not mentioning it because it's coming up. But it's a very strong album. And like I said, The Pot is awesome. Justin Chancellor, his bass lines are just amazing. One of my favorite bass players of all time. He's just an awesome bass player. And he was the highlight of the Back to the Beginning show for me, for the Tool performance, was Justin Chancellor. Awesome stuff. All right, coming number 2, Lateralus. I feel like this is the album that made the band a household name and really blew them up. This was released in 2001, so coming 5 years after the album before it. Huge album. Schism was the first single released from this. Music video was played on MTV. The Grudge, which opens, it's absolutely amazing. Eon Blue Apocalypse, The Patient, Mantra, Parabole and the Parabola was another hit single off of this. Awesome song. Ticks and Leeches. Maynard is, screeching on that song. It was just awesome. Lateralis, the title track, probably the best song off this album, in my opinion. Disposition, Reflection, Triad, and Fop the Wide. I never knew how to say that. Another one with unique and cool artwork. This one's just a slipcase. Comes up and down. There's the CD itself. You only have the names of the, songs on the back here. So the slipcase is like see-through. Nothing on the spine on the actual CD. But what's cool about this is this isn't even paper. This is like plastic. But every page reveals another step inside of the human body. Like I said, very strong album. When this album was released, this band was like on top of the world. It was like the band to see. It was, at the height of nu metal, and they just kind of squashed nu metal. Magazines at the time went from, Korn and Limp Bizkit, this and that, to straight Tool and Lateralis, and trying to get publicity photos of Maynard, and they never wanted to be seen. And, like I said, that's when, right before this album came out, is when I got that Guitar World magazine with Justin Chancellor and Adam Jones on the cover. Got that free poster that obviously went right on my wall. I don't have it anymore. I wish I did. the magazine. I don't really care much for the poster anymore. But yeah, just awesome artwork. Just looking at this again, it's just really, really cool stuff. And yeah, like I said, with Lateralus, I mean, people that didn't even like Tool fell in love with this album. The T-shirts were everywhere, and yeah, I mean, this was the band. And right before this album came out, Perfect Circle's debut, Murder Gnomes, came out, which is Maynard's other band, and you know, he was just kind of on top of the world. He had the single from that, Judith, and Schism in the charts at the same time. So great time to be a Tool fan, and great time to get into Tool. And you know, 24 years ago, it's crazy to think. You know, I was in high school, and it's just a good time. Like back then, you just thought like, yeah, it was whatever, you took it for granted. But now looking back, awesome, awesome time. And of course, number one, my all-time favorite Tool album, Aenima. So a lot of people, when this came out, weren't sure how to say that or what it meant. So it's Aenima. It's actually not a real word. It's a word made up by Tool themselves. A combination of anima with an A and enema with an E. We all know what an enema is. So this came out, no track listing, nothing, and totally different than Undertow. Nothing like Undertow whatsoever. We all know what that guy's doing on the CD. You see California kind of disappear in there. Let's see if we can really do it. Again, they start with the artwork. You get that, I don't know what you call it. Is that like lenticular? But it doesn't. It's only the plastic that does it. You know, this is a standstill. Man, what a great album this is. Opens up with Stink Fist, my all-time favorite Tool song, Eulogy. H, Useful Idiot. 46-2 was the single off of here. Great, awesome song. What I like about this, Message to Harry Manback, is kind of a foreign, I don't know, I think it might be German. Someone dropped in the comments what it is. I don't feel like looking up right now. Speech. And the interludes in here, the instrumentals are listenable, which I usually skip over them, but with this album, it's listenable. Hooker with a Penis, heavier song, minor hit for the band. Intermission, got that little like circus sound to it, which is, you know, creepy, but it goes with the album. Jimmy, I always butcher this one too. Die Ever von Satan. Push It, great track. I love Push It. Cesaro, Summerality, the title track. Aenima is probably my second favorite Tool song of all time. Amazing song. And Third Eye, which ends, it's just classic. Third Eye is just one of those songs that fans love. They go nuts for it. I remember seeing when I saw Tool live, we were just chanting Third Eye, Third Eye. And even I've seen a couple Tool tribute bands, and same thing. People are just Third Eye, play Third Eye. It's funny. So yeah, that is my number one, Aenima. Now before we end this video, since people said I actually don't like Tool, I'm not a Tool fan, I hate Tool. Total opposite. Another album I love by them. I didn't rank this because it's an EP. This is an Opiate. This is their debut EP. This also came out in 1992 with original bass player Paul D'Amour. Only 6 tracks, 7 if you include the hidden track. Sweat, Hush, Part of Me, Cold and Ugly, and Jerk Off, which are live, and then Opiate, which is the title track, which is probably my favorite song off of this. Awesome CD. And I had this on vinyl. I think it cost me like $10 at Barnes & Noble. So if you have a local Barnes & Noble that sells music, I would go there and get this if you're interested. $10 for the vinyl. And then we have a couple of these, I always say this, the unofficial, official bootlegs. This is Tool Lollapalooza in Texas in 1993. So the highlight of this is Opiate, the song featuring Lane Staley. We got Intolerance is on here, Undertow, Sober, Prison Sex, Bottom, Jerk Off, and then an interview with Maynard, an 8-minute interview from 1993. Live from Dallas, Texas. There is the track listing. And then we have another one. Now, when I said I didn't really like Tool when I saw them live, it was after 10,000 Days. This is actually from the Lateralus tour, and this is 5-star amazing. The Pepsi Challenge, Colorado, 2002. 2-disc set, all live. About 2 hours worth set list. Opens up with Sober, 4 Degrees, The Grudge, Negative Ions, Stinkfist, 46 and 2, Schism, an intro to Schism, Parable, an intro to Parable, and Parabola. Disc 2, we have Eon Blue Apocalypse, The Patient, Aenima, awesome. There's a little intermission, and then they come back with Disposition, Reflection, Triad. Maynard has a speech on here, and then ends with Lateralis, which is another awesome song. So if you see this, I highly recommend it. Great sound. It's probably a soundboard recording. Sounds awesome. Doesn't sound, sounds like a professional recording. So definitely pick it up. Excuse me. And lastly, we have this. This is Opiate 2. So what it is it's only one song on Blu-ray. If I can find it here. It's a re-recording of the song Opiate, not the album. And like I said, it's on Blu-ray. It's not even on CD, but it's extended. There's a nice bass intro from Justin, and it's I'd say about 4 minutes longer, maybe double the length of the original song. It's recorded live, not live. I'm sorry, re-record it with the Modern Man, not with Paul Demore. Just a bunch of pictures in the booklet there. There's a video on this Blu-ray also. There's some pictures of the band in the studio, which is cool to see. Very rare to see that. Another thing about this, I will say, this was also expensive. This was like, I think like 30 or 40 bucks or something for one track Blu-ray. Can't even put in a CD player. So another thing, I think does this book really cost that much to make? Maybe it does, I don't know. But, a little overpriced. Just beware if you're looking for this, that you're going to pay a lot, and it's literally just one song on a Blu-ray and a music video for that song. Nothing more to it. And I know there is a box set out there called Salival, which features the Sober video. I think there's some live, could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure there's some live videos on there. Some other music videos on there, but it also features a CD with a couple covers on there. There's a cover of Led Zeppelin's No Quarter. I forget what other covers are, but there's some live stuff, B-sides. Anyway, when that first came out, it was like around $40-50. And when that came out, it was before Lateralis. So, I'm like 14, 15 years old, and I wasn't working, so I couldn't afford it. And it kind of disappeared from stores. I remember seeing it in Tower Records for a while before they went out of business for I think like $50. And I was just like, I just could never bring myself to buy it. I was looking on eBay recently, and it's around like $35 used, which I would probably pull a trigger on that. But that's something also I gotta own. It was one of those CDs or albums, box sets, whatever you want to call it, that me and my friends always spoke about. And hey, who has it? None of us had it. We all wanted it. We wanted that cover of No Quarter from Led Zeppelin because at the same time we were discovering everything, and we're into Led Zeppelin, and we love Led Zeppelin, and we're in high school, so we're like, that's Led Zeppelin's only trippy song. Tool's doing a cover of it. We got to own it. I still never actually. I've seen it in stores and shrink wrapped and everything, but I actually never actually explored it, like opened it up and looked at the booklet and all that. But I know it came in a DVD version and a VHS version. If you people even know what VHS is anymore, or DVDs for that matter. All right, everyone, that is my ranking of Tool. And like I said, I don't really rank bands with less than 6 studio albums, but I had a couple extra things from Tool I figured I'd show off, and I wanted to get off my chest to all the people commenting that I hate Tool and I just don't like Tool, that I am a Tool fan, not a Tool nerd. I don't know every chord change and all that, like some of these guys do. And when I say Tool nerd, I mean that with total love and respect. No disrespect whatsoever. You're a crazy fan base, and I mean that in a good way also. All right, everyone, thank you for watching, and I'd hope to catch you in the next video. Take care.